I'll start off with a statement. First of all, I thought Oakland beat us tonight. It wasn't about us not being ready to go or not having a couple good days leading up to the game or thinking about the next game. We really have worked very hard, really since we left Las Vegas. We've had some good practices, and we knew coming into the game this was going to be a very hard game. It was hard for Illinois. It was hard for Ohio State. It's been hard for every team that's played them. Us being favored, I was a little surprised at that because I look at them and I see a really quality team, obviously a quality coach, and a very difficult style to play against if you're a veteran group. And I think in our case, our inexperience and youthfulness make that style even more problematic. A couple things about the game. Number one, regardless of how we got there, we were up 3 points going into the last 4 minutes of the game. 10th 4-minute segment. Talked a lot about that to our team in a huddle. The game was a hard-fought, even game throughout. And when you're up 3 at home and you enter in that last 4 minutes, you want to do things correctly. You want to really execute and be the better team. If we were, we would have had a great chance to win. We were overwhelmed in the last couple of minutes. We missed a block out on the next play, and it was an and one, a 3-point play. We missed a second block out a couple minutes later, which led to 2 more points. We went for a loose ball, which we had no chance of getting, which created a transition opportunity. And then we had a chance to close out on number 3, their best shooter. We didn't close out. We ran by him. And all he did was shot fake and take the most uncontested shot he took all game long in the biggest moments. Offensively, we missed the front end of a 1-on-1. We had a turnover that really was ill-advised, had nothing to do with the game. And you could just feel it the last 3-4 minutes. Not only did we not handle the game like we need to, but we really came unraveled. Now, we fought to the very end. We got a steal. They missed a couple free throws, and we actually had a shot to win it from half court. I will say we fought all the way to the final horn. But our quality of play and our inability to just do the fundamental things late in the game when it mattered the most, you could call it a learning experience, but it's really why the game got away from us at the end. I mean, we were up 3 entering that last 4 minutes. The second thing is I thought Trey Townsend, number 4, that was one of the best performances I've seen against the team that I've coached. I mean, he was 11 for 18 from the floor without shooting a 3. He got to the foul line 10 times. He had 6 rebounds, 2 of them on offense, and most importantly, he had 7 assists and 1 turnover. He had 28 points for the game. I mean, we actually guarded him with 4 different players. 3 of them had no chance, and then I thought Dez, of all the guys, did the best job. But as a coach, you always want to look at it and say, did you give your team the best chance to win? And I can say tonight the answer to that is no. We haven't trapped the post. There's a myriad of different things you try to build through the summer months, through the fall, and then in this schedule in November. It's the one thing we haven't implemented. We didn't have that in our toolbox, and I thought that if we would have had the ability to trap him, I don't know if we would have won, but he probably wouldn't have been 11 for 18. Someone else would have had some open shots, or somebody else would have had to do it, or we would have created some turnovers, or maybe given him a different look. We just didn't have the ability to do that as well as I wish we would have. And, again, that's the part when you build this with the new group. There's a lot of things we do have in, one of which is our zone offense, right? I mean, we played that game with 19 assists and 10 turnovers. I thought our offense was plenty good enough to win. It wasn't about that. We just could not stop Trey Townsend. And I thought that just generally speaking, that last 4 minutes we weren't comfortable enough in that moment to finish the game.
Abu came up here and said it was good that you guys got punched in the mouth like that. Is that the sentiment in the locker room right now? I know you mentioned it might not be a learning experience, but if it is, how do you get the young team to get that message that
Yeah, I mean, from Abu's perspective, I thought he did a good job. The problem is we needed him for more than 16 minutes. And again, each of our players has different things that they have to improve. We're asking them to be better. We're trying to teach them, coach them. No question we're going to grow a lot and get better as this year goes on. We already have. But him being able to play and not be in foul trouble from the opening tip is a big part of our development. In the 16 minutes that he played tonight, I thought he did a good job. We needed him for more than 16 minutes. But look, we learned a lesson when we lost to Washington. I thought we learned an equally good lesson when we beat St. Mary's and bounced back. Tonight's the same opportunity. But, this isn't about losing. We lost to Oakland at home. It's about being able to win. And we pulled up short tonight.
Sean, is it unusual in your experience to see them dominate in the paint early the way they did, but you guys did a really good job on the boards and second chance points? It seems like there's a dichotomy there.
Yeah. So one of the things that our guys have to learn, and I think, and to some degree it might be the most difficult part of coaching, is the younger that they are or the newer that they are to the program that we have, the more difficult it is to really get across to them how hard you have to play to be successful, how you have to be able to sustain effort and play at a level that you probably have never done before. One thing that changed in the second half, and the reason we were up 3 points entering the last 4 minutes, is the pressure on the ball and just to a man, the defensive just intensity, it went to another level. But it wasn't at that level for most of the first half. Part of Townsend's success is the guy on the ball that's passing it to him, it was just easier. It was easier. Late in the game, it was harder for him. He had to go out further from the basket. We gave ourselves a better chance because of just the ball pressure. It takes a lot of effort level to do that. Same thing with blocking out. Like, blocking out is really difficult to do. But everybody on our team can do it. As a young player, Dalen Swain is probably the number one thing we're talking to him about. You don't understand, Dalen? If you don't block out, bad things happen. The guys that you're guarding, they crash the glass. It changes the game. You can't just turn and look. Tonight, we paid a big price. So, yeah, I mean, to answer your question, at halftime, 43-42, by the way, Oakland is a better defensive team than they are offense, statistically. They force turnovers. Their zone is very, very unique. It's not easy to get comfortable against it. If you would have told me that we would have had 10 turnovers and 23 for 56 from the floor, 23 for 30 from the line. And again, back to the free throw line. Sometimes the free throw line is deceiving. It's when you make them. We had a guy last year, he was like the executioner, Sule Boom. Not only was he making the free throws, but he was going to the free throw line up 1, down 2, tie game. Tonight, if you really look at some of the free throws we missed, they were some of the most important free throws in the game. But that's that game pressure that you have to get used to handling. And we have to go through it. And tonight, obviously, we were on the wrong side.
One last question. Sean, given the amount of talent that you'll face in the Big East front court players, Bryce Hopkins, Brian Colvin, all these guys you're going to face, is it a concern, the individual post defense that you saw tonight, or is this more of a one-off in your opinion? You feel like your guys will continue to get better?
Oh, we're going to definitely get better because we're so young and inexperienced, but it's a concern. For us watching Oakland, we felt by rotating bodies and knowing that he drives the ball more than he catches it in the low post, that we would be able to do a good job throughout the game mixing up who's guarding him. The other part that happened is you got to remember Chris Conway, their center, he was 6 for 8 from the floor and had 15. So you add both of those guys up, that's 43 points, and that's 17 for 26 from the field, from 2. But that goes back to what I said. We needed to be able to give them a different look and trap the low post. And if you really pin me down and say, well, why didn't you do that? I would say that you try to prioritize your list of importance, and we've gotten to some other things first. I wish we'd have had that in. I think it could have helped us win tonight's game.